You can't bullshit your way to become disciplined.
Today, we are very lucky to be here with Ankur Warikoo, India's top content creator and serial entrepreneur with a hugely successful exit at Nearby.
The pro is the amateur who showed up every day. Roger Federer was not born Roger Federer. He became Roger Federer from where he was as an amateur with all his weaknesses and all his misdoings. It's the belief that failure is a muscle, and like any other muscle, it needs development and it needs stress.
You've stated that it's actions, not thoughts, that decide your luck.
Not everyone is an entrepreneur.
I guess the difficult part, and I guess the culture which you set up is part of it, but only part of it. The difficult part is getting those vectors aligned and in the same direction. And that actually requires, I think, for a startup founder who needs to have so many other skills, a really good knowledge of people and how they work, and what makes them tick. So I guess my question, to broaden it out a bit, is what have you learned about people from managing them? What makes them tick, and how can we direct people so that their vectors align?
The best thing that I learned about people was I used to believe people don't want to be managed. People don't want to be led. Smart people want to be on their own. They want to be just given this free hand, go and weave your magic, and they'll just come up with something fascinating, and you'll be just like, oh my God, my job was only to pick that person, and then they did what they had to do. And over time, I realized that that was possibly the worst interpretation of how humans work. I believe that 99% of all people in the world want to be led. They want a leader. They just don't want to be managed. And the distinction between being led and being managed is being told what to do, and being led is to be told where to reach. So when you lead, like I can imagine someone like an Elon Musk leading SpaceX, he's like, that's where we're going. It's called Mars. And we're going to go there and set up a base. And that's what we have to achieve. And that's the leadership. So every day, the conversation is about what's getting us there, what's stopping us from get there, what do we need to get there, what do we not have to get there. And everything is about getting there. But then the management is, are you doing everything that you can to get there? I don't care what you're doing right now. I don't care what your next day is. I don't care what you achieve in the next quarter or the next year. Are you doing what is required to get there? And that is this big distinction. Now, because people do not know what true or good quality leadership is, they default to management. And management then becomes, hey, Ollie, have you done this? Hey, Lucas, are you on your track? Hey, Ollie, you said it'll be due. Are you going to turn it in? Hey, Lucas, you're supposed to do this. Are you done? And then gets irritating because like, bro, you got to either trust me or just keep asking until I want to quit. So the biggest lesson that I've learned about people is 99% of the people want to be led. They want direction. They don't want to be headless. They don't want to be directionless. They don't want to be like, we are in charge of our own destiny, because most people are not comfortable with that. Most people in maybe Lucas's terms are not entrepreneurs. They love being what I would call an employee, where they're told, here is the direction we're heading towards. And now you go and do your thing. And when I realized that changed a lot in a good way, because it gave me clarity over what my role is suddenly as a startup founder. It's not to, and I say this, it's to be replaceable with my skills, but to be irreplaceable with my vision. And if I can get to that point as a startup founder, where my skill, whatever my skills are, can be easily replaced by somebody else, but the vision I have is almost unique to me, I think I've done my bit as a people manager.
Yeah. Could you maybe expand on that a little bit? Because you mentioned that if you're a manager, you shouldn't maybe go to someone and say, are you on track, or follow up in a certain way. But I also feel that maybe for some companies, employees might be less willing to do the work if they're not being quote unquote policed in that way. So how does a manager find the balance between being bossy and micromanaging, but also make sure that things are getting done?
The best way, in my opinion, is to align the incentives to how you want the action to be. For example, I'll give you what we do at our startup right now. In our startup, I care about two things. I care about timeliness of work, and I care about quality of work. These are the only two things I care about. I don't care about people showing up every day in the sense of you have to work a certain hour every day, or you need to be in office by X, you can leave by only Y, and that you have to show up at 5 days a week. None of that. I couldn't care less. Like, you could do all of your work in just one day of the week, and if you're smart enough, take the rest of the week off. You want to do it every single day for a little bit of time and spread yourself? Sure, be my guest. You want to do it all at the end and procrastinate in the beginning? Sure. Whatever works for you. Don't care. So if my incentives are aligned around timeliness and quality, these are the only two things that I'm measuring and the only two things that I am rewarding people for. So in our organization, we have whatever is the bonus after the fixed component of their salary. The bonus is a component of their timeliness and of their quality. And timeliness is simply defined as whether they did their work by the time that they were supposed to turn it in. Just that. Not whether they worked every day towards that. Not that they worked right at the beginning or towards the end or a combination thereof. Don't care about the details. So if Ollie, you're supposed to turn in your work in 2 weeks from now, did you turn it in 2 weeks from now? That's it. Don't care what you did during those 2 weeks. Of course, if you need help, we're always there. But you're your own manager of time and how you want to do it. And when you did turn that in, was that of the quality that we desired or not? And these are the only two questions that are asked for every single task done by every single person. Was it done on time? Was it the quality that we demanded it? And as long as you're hitting that, you will be in the top spectrum. If you're not hitting it, you'll be in the bottom, and a combination thereof. So instantly, people are incentivized for the right things. And goes back to Charlie Munger's favorite and often quoted quote, which says, fix the incentives, fix the outcome. Because very often, the problem with the outcome that you're unable to get to is a problem with the incentives that you've designed to make it happen in the first place.
Want your head and hair to feel cool and clean? Been going to extreme measures to cool your head off? Then get yourself a Manscaped. Don't be like Ollie and take your scalp from zero to hero with the new scalp buffer now. Use the discount code LOAF to get your 20% off.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that short clip from our interview with Ankur Warikoo. If you want to see the full interview, click right here. But most importantly, don't forget to like and subscribe, because that helps us to keep getting guests like this and keep bringing you good content. See you guys next time.